Hey there, Sandy Freshy here, back with another video. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I want to talk about human design and healing and where human design fits into your healing journey. So this is for you if you have stumbled upon human design and realized, or maybe you're even in your experiment, you've been in your experiment for a while, and you realize that you have been conditioned in ways that are not beneficial or not healthy for your true expression. Maybe you have over time developed self-esteem issues, or you have a pattern of having unfulfilling or bad relationships. Maybe you've been in abusive situations. Maybe you had childhood abuse. And you look at your chart, a chart, this is not your chart probably, but you look at your chart and you begin to understand your chart, and it explains so much about how you were treated as a child, how maybe you were misunderstood, why you may have certain moods at certain times. And, and it slides certain things into place where it can be so healing to have that level or have that information so that you have a deep level of self-acceptance self-acceptance, and maybe even acceptance for other people, because you understand the energy dynamics, the energy mechanics. But here's the thing you need to know. Human design will not heal your childhood trauma. Human design will not, your human design experiment only goes so far to help you repair the damage that has happened. When you go through traumatic situations, when you go through abusive situations, or situations that maybe through your innate chemistry or your nervous system off balance, human design, the human design experiment of following your strategy and authority is only going to go so far. It's only going to take you so far. And this is how I know this. I know it in two ways. I have worked with hundreds of people where when I get to certain aspects of their chart, or we're looking at certain aspects of their conditioning dynamics, conditioning potentials, they go, oh yes, I know that about myself. And it is creating all kinds of problems in my life. What do I do about it? Do I just live out this unhealthy way of being as I'm trying to be true to my strategy and authority, or my energy type? What do I do about this? I am following my strategy. I am waiting for that invitation or waiting for something to respond to, but there's still this thing, this pattern of behavior, this fight, flight, or freeze thing that I do when I'm under stress. There's still this reaction, this a disproportionate reaction to what's going on. What do I do about that? That's where you walk away from the chart, or you just, walk off the chart and you find someone, a therapist, a counselor, a coach, an energy healer, a shaman, someone who has the expertise in what needs to be repaired. So the second way I know about this is through my own experience. And I share a lot about my own experience. I'm a line 3. And especially over the last 3 years or so, I've really come to understand and see very clearly my own stress response that is in reaction to past trauma. And what I do is I freeze. There's a fight, flight, or freeze response. And I have spent a lot of my life in freeze. And now I've gotten it down to the point where I can recognize those little micro freezes, right? Where I freeze up. And it has affected my, the way that my business has grown or not grown. It has affected my relationships. It has affected the choices I've made in my life, and it has pretty much paralyzed me on occasion because um, at times during my experiment, I mistook it for my strategy. Now I want to tell you a few other examples, so because you might recognize yourself in this, right? Let's say you're a generator or a manifesting generator. You've got the sacral response. I've worked with so many people, and I've seen so many generators and manifesting generators who can't get in touch with their sacral response because they're not in their bodies. And people who have experienced trauma, either through physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, or an accident even, have the tendency, and I'm not a trained licensed counselor yet, but they'd have a tendency to disassociate, leave their bodies, not be in touch. Some people are naturally designed to kind of be more in the mental world than the physical world. And that can get in the way, and they have to also be embodied because we have these bodies, but they can't. And a lot of times it's because there was some damage. And I'm using damage like, I don't want you to think that I'm talking about like irreparable damage, but there have been some effects on the nervous system that have caused misalignment with the highest potentials of what's on this chart that need to be repaired or restored so that you can live on this chart. So getting back to the generators and manifesting generators who are not embodied, that's a huge thing. And yeah, you can practice you can do all of that kind of stuff, and but if you haven't done the healing work, and it's at that deep level of wounding, you have to do the healing work to restore the nervous system so that it's safe to get back in the body. And that goes for all of us, all of us, when we're under a lot of stress, or most of us, it's a human tendency to leave the body and go in the head, or whatever it is, and not really be in this place where we're not really in tune with what our strategy and authority is trying to tell us. But if this is a pattern where you can't get in touch with your inner knowing, with your inner authority, and you have had issues in the past that have created some kind of wounding or misalignment or hurtful history, then that's when you want to get help for that. And that's going to make it so your experience of aligning with your design, living from your design, so much richer and healthier than trying to carry all of that baggage with you, right? So use your human design experiment to help you get on the trajectory of where you may be meeting those people who can help you, right? And aligning with this path that will bring you into greater healing. That can happen as you're doing your experiment. And as you're doing your healing work with your design. So refer back to your design so that you know what's truly possible as you heal and release all of this stuff that keeps you from living the highest, most empowered, living from the highest, most empowered aspects of your design. So I hope that helps you. I'd love to know about your healing journey, how you see human design fitting into that. And if you want to leave that below in the comments, I tried my best to read each one. Sometimes I don't get to respond to each one, but I try to do that as well when I have time. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, I invite you to subscribe. Check out my website at www.sandyfreshy.com, where I offer my human design services and also my healing services. And until the next time, be well.